All right, welcome to the Buffalo Sabres 2019-20 shotgun season preview. Let's get started right away with last season's stats. Starting with in the division, they placed sixth last season. They were 27th overall in the NHL. Their offense was tied for 23rd. They were 24th in defense. Their power play was 16th, and their penalty kill was tied for 12th. Jason Botterill, their GM, the clock is ticking on you, my friend, because he fired yet another coach. The pressure's on. Now, Phil Housley is gone. He's now the assistant with Arizona, by the way. And they hired Ralph Krueger, who is really, let's face it, he's the X factor for this team. I mean, this guy coached in the NHL once, the Edmonton Oilers, to an unsuccessful season. I want to say it was during the lockout season. It was only like 48 games or whatever it was. And in between, he's been in Europe as an executive with a soccer club. Now, a few years ago, he did coach Team Europe to a surprising second-place finish, finishing, of course, only losing to Canada in the finals. Everyone was really surprised at how he brought that team together so quickly. So let's see what he does here. But people will be watching this team really closely. Now, when it comes to the forward group, there's been a couple of changes here and there. Nylander left. He's in Chicago now. Palmanville's no longer with the team. And they went out and got a few extra players here. I'm speaking of left winger Jimmy Vesey for the New York Rangers. He'll probably be playing in that second, maybe that third line slot. They also got Marcus Johansson as UFA. He was with the with the Boston Bruins last season, who was acquired from New Jersey at the trade deadline, and he had a fantastic playoffs for them. So I think they're hoping this guy may come close to 20 goals. They might be hoping, but somewhere between 16 and 20, kind of like Vesey. We'll see how that works out. The surprising factor here in this forward group could be Victor Olofsson. This could be this Mr. Surprise here because in the AHL last season, he scored 30 goals. 30. He had a cup of coffee with the big club as well. He did pretty good. And then in the preseason, he's been ripping it up. This guy's a pure sniper, and people are joking he could even be on that top line next to Eichel. I mean, Skinner, he's not scoring 40 goals again, right? I mean, I'm thinking maybe 30, 35 at the most. Really, Olofsson is probably going to start on that second or third line spot on the left wing as well. So, but I know a lot of Buffalo fans are really excited to see how this kid does. Now, the defense group, there are some changes here as well. No, Ristolainen is still with the club as of this date anyway. Colin Miller was acquired from the Vegas Golden Knights. He'll probably fit well on the bottom pairing with Scandella. They also went out and got Henry Jokiharju from the Chicago Blackhawks, who at the moment might be a seventh defenseman. But you know how Zach Bogosian gets hurt all the time. He might factor in on and off or platoon with him throughout the entire season. We'll see how that goes. Goaltending. Now, you have the same two guys in Ullmark and Hutton, who last year were terrific for the first half, and then they just pooped the bed like the rest of the team after that 10-game winning streak. So now, they went out and got, I believe it was Andrew Hammond as a third stringer. Their rookie sensation, I'm talking about Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, who's about 20 years old, I want to say. He's not ready yet. He's probably going to take at least another year, maybe more like 3, until he steps up with the big club. Maybe you'll see him have an Americano, maybe an espresso towards the end of this coming season with the big boys. We'll see how he does then. When it comes to the salary cap and everything, they have just over $1 million left at the moment. Now, after this coming season, they have a bunch of guys in the forward group who are going to be UFAs. And I'm talking about Savoca, who might be a trade candidate, as well as Connor Sheary. Jimmy Vesey is also UFA. And then there's some guys making 1.6 and lower. I'm talking about Gergensons, Larson, and Scott Wilson. You could see Saboka, maybe even a Capozzo, who's got 4 more years at $6 million left on his contract. Maybe they probably want to trade those two guys. I don't know who they're going to get to get who they're going to get to take Okposo's contract. Maybe they'd have to give up a draft pick or something along the way. Now, the only RFAs will be Reinhart and Vesey. No, sorry, Rodriguez, who both have arbitration rights, by the way, as well as Middlestat as well. Now, on defense, the UFAs after next season will be Bogosian, will be Scandella, and will be Nelson. Now, Brandon Martour will be an RFA with arbitration rights, but of course, everyone's talking about the biggest trade candidate, which is Rasmus Ristolainen. He's 24 at the moment. He's got 3 more years left at $5.4 million. Now, he was like worst in the league in the plus-minus category last year, like a minus 42 or something. So his stock isn't high right now, although he was playing, first pairing minutes. He's a right shot defenseman. He does have value. I want to say he got around 40 or so points. They'll probably wait until his stock goes up, maybe even around the trade deadline, and in order to maximize their return. We'll see how that goes, because then they have like 7-8 NHL defensemen. So they should be all right in that department. Now that's it. That's all. Where do I see them finishing? No higher than 5th. No lower than 7th. Don't forget, it's arguably the hardest division in hockey in the Atlantic, besides the Central, with Tampa Bay, Boston, Toronto, and now Florida, who's got a world-class goaltender and coach in Quenneville. Everyone finally is expecting Florida to take the next step. So I don't see the playoffs. And it all depends on Kruger. Who knows? But I do see them improving. And I just don't see them finishing lower than, let's say, the Ottawa Senators. I think Detroit maybe takes an extra step this year. We'll see. That's it. That's all. Please hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. And hey, if you happen to have any Hockey Geek friends, please don't feel shy about sharing. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon.